We are minus Sky today because you feel
You know what's going to happen there, don't you? As soon as you've done that intro, everyone's going to go, okay, I'm not listening to
that's
these
it.
two then.
We're down to 2 listeners now.
We'll have a 3-second listening rate.
Right, today I'm going to give you a bit of an overview of some of the questions, a few that I really want to dig into hugely. The first one is about the guilt you put on yourself for not doing the things that you should / know that you're capable of. That's one I want to dig into. Another one I'm going to dig into is methods to transition from the gym floor to online. So the reason why that's really relevant is that at one of our talks at Performex next week is how to transition if you're a face-to-face one-to-one coach your clients and your business to either small group PT or online. And we're also doing a webinar at 10 a.m. next Tuesday on that as well. So I'll whack the link in the notes. So that's one I want to dig into. And there's some really good ones, actually. There was another one. Which one did I just say?
About knowing what to do, prioritise.
Yeah, but we'll get into it.
Anyway. Get on with it. What's this with this new intro? Get on with it.
You should see the listens go down like that. So an intro is to like hook you in, audience, hook you in to the end, or at least past 3 minutes. Right, first one. Here's one for you. How many extra learning courses should PTs be doing in a year?
Generally, listen, I think as long as you're doing at least something like one a year as a CPD, as a course or something to challenge yourself on, I think that's a great place to start. A course, a mentorship, or some form of CPD a year, a minimum of one. Like, there's no point in giving a maximum because it absolutely depends. Yeah, it completely depends because I know lots of coaches who do 3, 4, 5 a year, but then their business grows at a snail's rate because they're so invested in taking information in and not being able to apply it. So I would just give you very, very blanket general advice of one bit of further education a year minimum. What would you say?
I would say I've seen a lot of coaches, like you say, get into the trap of I need to learn more, I need to know more to then do something. I think I would take it in 2 ways. I think one, it's not really courses, but learning and development. I think one, for you personally that you enjoy / is going to develop you. And I think 2, something actually that you find really hard and you want it, and it's going to have impact on your business. So I think focusing on those 2 areas, I think, is going to be the way I'd look at it. And to be fair, the way I kind of go about development, I love coaching, and that's what I read up on and behavior change and constantly, but I hate marketing and I'm diving into Facebook ads every week and trying to learn and be better in that. Yeah. Next.
Any experience or knowledge of best options to raise finance if you want to open your own facility, and any methods you definitely avoid?
I would learn and get into and understand the different types of investments from investors that are available. So I think first of all is going to get investors. One of the kind of pitfalls of that is the involvement that those investors have or don't have. I think is a big decision to make. So that's the first thing. I think typically investors will be people that you kind of maybe have already relationships with. So again, I think it's really important to be clear, to be concise, to not take it as a favor, to not take it as a gift, to divvy up the shares, roles and responsibilities. Are they silent? Are they not? I think that's massive. One thing I think actually that coaches don't actually look into that much, and they should, is grants, small business grants.
100%.
That's something that it takes time. So if you're thinking about doing it, I would massively look into that. Literally, if you can get money in the right way and not have to pay it back and you get it off the government, you can do it and take enough off you. So those 2 options, I would say, are, and obviously small business loans, etc., as well. And you might be in that position and you might be able to factor them in, and there's some good rates around. So The first thing I would look at is opportunities and availability of business loans, and 100% grants from the local government, local council, local government. So those are the two things. Avoids are the relationship and the terms that you have with individual investors. Those are the things not to avoid, but to be very aware of, I would say. Anything to add? Take away?
No, you just hit the nail on the head.
Right, here's the one that I want to go into a bit. It's easy to guilt yourself for not doing as much as you want to or know that you can. So, how do you manage the balance between always striving to get more work done and being compassionate with yourself on the days, weeks where things are tougher and moving more slowly? How much?
I think you've got the first point I would say is you need to have good awareness of what stage you're at with your business, right? So if you're at a stage with your business where you're going, I am in a growing stage, right? I need to grow. And some people might sit there and go, we're always looking to grow, but it very much depends on what rate and what expectations of that, right? So I think what's important is to sit there and go, right now, so for argument's sake, let's say I'm sat there and I need to grow double the size of my business. And I need to do that for whatever personal reasons. I need to do that quick. Then how much is too much shouldn't even be in your fucking mind, in my opinion. This is where probably compassionate needs to be, this is just my opinion, be put on the side of kicking yourself up the arse. That's a compassionate kick right up the arse to go and take a relentless amount of action, right? To allow yourself to be in a position to then be able to back off for a short space of time. But, and there's a huge but here, right? When you're running a self-employed business, and I've shared a post this morning with just understanding how to coach people, right? So coaching is a job and a skill set on its own. Plant sales in, plant marketing in, right? Plant operations of a business in, plant service, building out your service and product, plant tax, plant finance, plant account. It's pretty much going to feel like, and it should feel like, that you are actually going 80 to 100 mile an hour every single time, all the time. And this is why it's dead important, in my opinion, to plan in points within your quarterly plan to go, that week, I'm away from work and I shut off and I don't fucking touch it once. Because when you're running a self-employed business with the plates that you're spinning all of the time, it probably should look like, especially in a growth stage, that you're going 100 mile an hour most weeks. How that looks to you, whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are 12-hour days, and then Thursday, Friday, you back off in the 6 and 8 hour days, great. But you have to create them boundaries in a way that meets your goals and aims. So first and foremost, if that awareness piece is there, it should be easier to go, I need a compassionate kick up the arse here and go, I need to go all in on this, or I'm at a stage of backing off. So that would be my point of going, how much is too much? I would say, generally speaking, the reason why most personal trainers fail within our industry is because they don't work hard enough. I'll leave it there. Your point.
Everybody, I think my perception of this is like, I can sit at the end of the day and go, listen, you're never going to be able to run 100% of your capacity every single day and not have those blips in concentration, in procrastination, in creative blocks, in task ticking, like that. You're going to fall into those traps. I think there's getting to the end of the day or the end of the week and going, I told myself I'd do that because I know categorically that's the thing I should be doing to do X and achieve Y. And I think being compassionate on simply avoiding the challenging things is detriment to you as a person being able to grow through challenging things, and definitely you as a business, and being resistant to change and getting out there and learning and failing and going again. That's the biggest thing. You've got to, so many people are looking at short-term gratification, however much they don't say they are constantly looking at short-term gratification. If this thing doesn't do this thing that I want, they'll either, it's my fault, it's the thing that doesn't work, and they'll regress. And there's no growth mindset around that at all. So I think you've got to look at the bigger picture. And we sat down this morning, didn't we, and we went, what are the commonalities in success that we've seen over short periods of time, but also long periods of time, like 8, 9 years plus the rest of our career? And it's consistency, it is striving to learn from what they're doing and what they're improving. Some days they'll have immediate results and be like, shit, how did that happen? But actually, it's the compounding effect of weeks and months and sometimes years of working consistently. And they'll have some months where it'll be like, what is going on? I just don't see any way forward from this point. But they carry on and they learn and they dig back in. And I think that is a commonality when we have people doing, 18 hours a week in their business and earning ridiculous amounts of money for being a PT. I don't want to throw numbers out there. Like, it's not come overnight. It's been over months and months and months and months and months. And I think the industry, and especially not to blame personal trainers or coaches, because what do you see online constantly? I'll show you how to. I saw one today. I'll show you how to do this and this in 7 days. You'll get from that to this in this time. In 5 days, we'll solve all your problems. It's absolute fucking bullshit. And it reminds me of that transformation coach 10 years ago who used to be, hey, I've got a good physique, do my program, you'll get the results that I get. And it just doesn't work like that in the claims that they put across and what the general kind of noise is out on social media at the moment, which is a lot because we live our lives on there, don't we, for business. So I think if you're asking that question, I think you know the answer to that question. And I think it's just being really, really honest with yourself.
Next question.
Bit of a rant then. Is it you're asking?
It's me, isn't it? If you all had to pick a job not within sport and exercise industry, what would it be?
It would be property developer. Do you know what I wanted to be when I was really young? A marine biologist. Yeah. A footballer or a marine biologist. There you go. What's yours?
Remote sport. Like,
I know, it's hard, isn't it?
I would really struggle with that. I've never thought about it. No one's ever asked me that question before, so it's good. What would I like to do? Pilot. I'd like to be a pilot. There you go.
How to manage a client who's in a group setting who makes remarks negatively about certain things like his weight and stuff we do to engage clients. For example, trying to make a joke about some of the things we post in our client community.
I'd pull the cunt. Honestly, I would. I'd pull it. Sorry for the language, but I just would. Like, people like that are probably just very unhappy. Like, that's their way of making a joke out of something all of the time or something like that, when they're not seeing the bigger picture of you trying to run a business and build a community and it's seen in a positive way. So personally, I would pull him. I would just say, mate, got a bit of an issue. Here's my issue. It doesn't help for these reasons. Could you do me a huge favour? As yes, I want you to add to the community. And I'm not saying it has to be always positive, but obviously when people are trying, yada, 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 we're trying to engage the community and really help people. Try not to piss on our chips doing it. I'd pull him. 1,000,000% pull him. Yeah. 1,000,000%. What are good strategies to shut out the noise from needy PTs in the gym? For context, I work in a medium-sized gym with 13 PTs in.
I'm good at this, so...
You are really good at this. This is your skill set.
Yeah. I'm really good at ignoring people that I don't want to talk to. Like, I'm really good. I'm really good at shutting out, of having selective attention. But genuinely, I think, listen, it's going to happen. But I think putting yourself in the position where you're not surrounded by it all the time, first thing. Second thing, I just get hyper focused on what your aspiration is, what your goal is. If it doesn't, there's a difference, isn't it? If it's negatively affecting you and your business, then you remove yourself from the environment in regards to, you don't mix yourselves with those guys, you don't put yourself in the position where that negativity, I'm sure, or whatever it is affecting you, and focus on your own stuff. I mean, I always find that if a PT in a commercial gym is charging less than you or less than me, or they have a similar name as your business, or they're doing the same type of model of what you're doing, it's all a compounding effect at the end of the day. Like I'd welcome that as much as you can, because it strengthens the PT culture within that environment, number one. Number two, nobody really knows how much you charge versus them charge versus what they're doing and they're offering until they're in your business, because not very many PTs advertise all of their costs and price points and etc. in a commercial gym where members can kind of stand there and look at the wall and go, right, John does this, charges that, Dave does this and does this and does this. The only comparison they have is if they come and speak to you and you give them that direct answer and they go to another PT and do the same thing, then they're usually going to pick the person who is cheapest, because all they've got to go on is the perception of price point versus what you've told them. They have no rapport or value or etc. built up. So I know I've went off a bit of a tangent, but that was something that was asked the other day, but kind of relates to this, doesn't it? I think. So yeah, that's what I'd focus on. Anything you'd add or anything you've done? iPhone or Android?
It's a pointless question, isn't it? It's iPhone. That's it. There's not even another phone in my book. What's your biggest pet peeve people do in the gym? If it's Nick answering this, it's breathe.
Yeah, basically be in the same environment as me. Pet peeve in the gym. I think there's two contexts really. I think when I ran gyms, it would be simple stuff like not putting their weights away, like obvious stuff like that. Hogging kit, being a bit arrogant. I'm talking about other people, members there. Apart from that, like you've got little quirks, haven't you? Like people using the calf machine as a leg press, or
You fucking do.
or no, I'm not. Yeah, I've got a lot, to be honest. But from a usage perspective, I don't train in a commercial gym now, probably for a lot of reasons. Layout and efficiency, and yeah, I haven't got a lot, to be honest, because I remove myself from those environments. To be fair, what are yours?
I think the only pet peeve I have is gearheads thinking they're hard. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, there's a couple of who just look,
actually, I've got one.
who purposely go out of their way to try and look intimidating. And I'm like, honestly, I'll take a bar to your calf.
I've got one.
Go on.
Fucking shadow boxing in between weight sets.
That's
What's that all
standard.
about?
That's standard. That
What is that all about?
active
Shadow
rest, isn't
boxing.
it? Active rest.
Shadow boxing in between.
Yeah, but honestly, apart from the only one I'm training two commercial gyms at the minute, and the only one that comes, well, there's two. The one that comes to mind is them gearheads who think they're hard, and then purposely look dead serious after every set, right, and try and intimidate people. I'm like, honestly, mate, stop it. Relax, calm yourself down off the trend, and chill out. The other one is the little gym, the class clique that try and take over the functional area of gyms like it's theirs. Yeah, they need wiping out. That's about it.
Bringing suitcases and bags onto the gym floor and leaving it around. You can't fucking train. That
All right,
doesn't.
let's stop this now because we're just going to sound like morning old men.
Yeah, right.
Best methods to transition from gym floor to online.
First one is know what you want from moving online. Challenge yourself on that answer, because the most immediate reaction, again, probably through social media painting this type of picture, is that online's easier, online's less time, online is automatic, etc. And it can be. But challenge yourself, because most coaches I know like coaching and like coaching people. So I'd challenge yourself on what you actually want to get out of that. Like, what does that look like in reality for you? Because you take away time from the gym floor, you're going to have to replace that time with marketing. Because I can guarantee if you're in a commercial gym now, a high percentage of PTs don't do marketing. They've got their business because they're a good coach, but also because there's thousands of members in front of them. So you're going to be replacing something that you like with something that you don't like, potentially. So I think that's that reality. Second thing I would look at is, how can I how can I manage and transition my current clients to an online service? And that's not all at once. It would be over a period of time. So that transitional phase is going to be huge, I think, for current clients. I think then you've got kind of two options, obviously marketing online, but also using the assets you've got from the gym floor to then bring into maybe face to face for a month or two and then take online after that, future pacing. So those are the first things that I'd be looking at, are those three areas. Second, the next one is there's no point in going online if your systems and business and foundation isn't set up to support you. What I mean by that is you can't randomly contact people that have inquired last week and expect them to book in, or you've got to have systems in place that are going to support you and your online business to thrive. And that's a huge thing. So the next thing would be looking at the systems and processes you've got in your business right now and testing them as much as you can, like coming up with as many different scenarios as you can in regards to, right, when they inquire and they book in, is that it? Is there going to be some emails that go out that nurture them a little bit, even before the call? Okay, so they've turned up for the call, they've gone away to think about it, or they're signing up next week, or they're doing whatever. What's going in afterwards once they sign up? Is the systems and processes in place to nurture them and to give them direction and structure and whatnot. So there's that stress testing of your operations of your business. And there's the acceptance, like we alluded to on like the second or third question, of if you're starting from fresh in regards to your presence, your brand awareness, your value, your equity in your social media, manage your expectations. You've got to put the groundwork in to be able to earn the right to ask for the business. And I would say, without a doubt, like, have a budget for marketing, Meta ads, Google ads, etc. So the best methods are using your assets you've got right now, the gym floor and your current clients, accepting and measuring your expectations in regards to what the work you've got to now put in additionally while you're transitioning those clients online, i.e. marketing, stress testing and really tearing apart your current operations, your business, your systems, your processes to make sure that they are going to serve you and support you when you go online and support your clients. That's how you transition from the gym floor to online. Anything you'd add into that?
Apart from, it would have been a great answer to get on as social media content but you took about 20 minutes to answer it. Thanks for that.
What would someone need to have in place to move onto rent in a commercial gym? Being at max capacity with clients for so long, having consistent process to get clients, etc.
You missed the question, I think. Yeah, you've missed the question.
Let's see it.
I'll answer this one and then go back to the other one. What should someone have in place to move to commercial gym? Example, being at max capacity with clients for so long. There's no set blueprint for it. I think if I was in your position right now, what would give me the confidence would be probably having a consistent volume of leads coming in every month. So if I'm in a commercial gym, 50 leads a month is realistic. Organic leads from the gym floor, classes, and social media and email. So yeah, like that's happening more or less every month. Like I'm not saying that's the golden number. I'm just saying what I would take confidence in. That I'm getting a fair amount of inquiries a month for consultations. And I've had a good run at that, probably about 3-4 months. And I've also saved a bit of revenue to cover me for my gym rent for, let's say, 1 or 2 months. I think that would give me confidence, having them leads coming into my business. I'm still consistently marketing. I'm getting consistent inquiries. And I'd probably give myself that evidence over notoriously quieter months too. So maybe like I'd do a Jan, Feb and March and then sit there and go, yeah, actually I can do this in March when it started to drop off a little bit. And then that would give me probably, if I'm in your shoes, the realistic confidence to go and make the jump. But the one thing I will say in caveat to that is that the quicker you take action, the more pressure you put on yourself. Sometimes it's good pressure because it forces you into action to do the things that you need to do anyway. So I've never really met a PT after all of the years working in gyms that has then regretted going on to rent because of that pressure. It's normally been a good piece of pressure, kick up the backside. So if you're thinking it, this person who asked the questions had a rapid rise to full capacity in 2 months. So I'd probably go 1 or 2 months of what I've just said, and then I'd make the decision just to go and do it because you prove to yourself that you can. Tips to fill spaces in a paid fat loss challenge.
Tips to fill spaces in a fat loss challenge. Anything else?
In a paid fat loss challenge.
That's quite vague.
He's doing a paid fat loss challenge, and what are your tips to sell the spaces that are in there?
Hyper focus on, is that face to face or online?
Yeah. I don't, just answer the fucking question.
Hey, thank you.
Real.
No one wants to see the top of your head. All right. First thing is, who's it for? Focus. If you're on the gym floor, focus on the type of person that you feel it would be relevant for. So your niche. You can be a little bit broader with that, being on the gym floor, but you kind of know where the areas gym goes are going to be in regards to the kit they use and how they kind of carry themselves in the gym. If it's online, be super specific on the niche in regards to the outcomes that they're looking to achieve, in regards to the problems that they are facing right now, in the obstacles and objections they may have on doing something like that. And all of that is to build up the belief that by doing this, they can effectively get what you're positioning. And what comes into that is a absolute boatload of social proof, testimonials, proof that you can do what you're saying you're doing is going to be huge. I think the inputs on how you generate leads and how you start conversations with that group of people is going to be based off that content, based off inviting them to have those conversations, answer their questions, and solve their problems, etc. So, they're the kind of basics. I would then be testing the market a little bit. If you've got a mailing list, I'd be testing the market with that. In regards to maybe a waiting list or a priority list, etc., I would be doing the same with social media. And then I think the follow up off the back of that has got to be relentless and consistent and incredibly frequent as well. We talk a lot about asking for the business and making sure people know about it and where it happens and why it's happening, and making it to a point where they feel like they're missing out. A big part of the boat is the fear of missing out on something, fear of missing out on the outcome, fear of missing out on other people getting what you want. That has all got to come through your content, through your emails. So yeah, those are the points from that vague question, I would say. Anything you'd add?
No. Next.
What's the best way to warm up leads on your mailing list?
Be consistent. Crap advice, but it's a good way to warm up leads. So like, when I say consistent, probably more than 1 email a week, 2 or 3. Be really clear on who is on there and the outcomes they're looking for, where they're at the moment, connecting the dots between the two in regards to supporting them with elements of value, education, in a probably in a story-led way a lot of the time. So email marketing from that side of things, it's like nurturing leads and warming up the leads is all about your copy, your subject line. Can you get them in? Do you understand them? Can you show that you understand them through your writing? So a lot of it is a skill based on that. But if you know your audience really well, that massively helps. Because you can tell different stories, whether that's about you personally, what happened in your day, something that resonates with a trending time of year, like then some education, then a mix of you talking about clients and sharing that, because that should link to who's on there. So all of the standard stuff that probably this person already knows. The only thing I would say is that every month that you're planning your marketing campaigns for bringing external leads into your business, I'd also plan something within your email list that raises people's hands that are there. So whether that's an offer, whether that's a lead magnet, whether that's something that you want to do to get people from it being, let's say 100, 200, 300, I don't know how many's on the list, to start to raise their hand, reply, all of that. And that can happen in a direct way. which is like a spur-based email. It can happen in a lead magnet, it can happen in an offer. But I would program that into your marketing plan every single month to get people to raise their hands. Because essentially that's what you're asking, right? You're asking for the warm people to raise their hands, but you've got to plan in something that's going to help them do that. Anything you would add?
Oh,
What's the best conversation you've ever had and why?
God, I can't think of a single conversation off the top of my head. I think, tell you what's the most impactful one, probably. It was probably when I met my cousin. Really, I think I've only ever met him once. And it was when I was about 15, when my uncle got remarried. And he just come back from working on a cruise ship. And he put it into my head about working on a cruise ship just by the way he was talking. And that shaped pretty much the next 15 years, really.
How long you were on a cruise ship for? 15 years.
And I was doing that. I knew that I wanted to do fitness. So I spent the next in school doing BTEC and sports science and uni and stuff, and then went straight onto cruise ships for 4.5 years and then moved to Australia. So that person got that conversation, or more that story, kind of shaped like probably the next 15 years. Can't remember exactly what it was about, but there you go.
Next question.
How to keep in contact with leads over a 4-week period to convert quickly and not leave for too long.
These 2 or 3 methods that come to mind, and they're all tactics, I suppose. But I think for one is doing some form of, and depends how much time you've got, contact-based challenge where you're with them on a daily or weekly basis. So there's an element of supporting, driving them, a level of accountability, and they see a result from what it is that you're doing. So therefore, they're much more likely to buying into you and your coaching. So I think that works really well. And I've done that a lot over the years, like a bit of a front end offer style challenge works really well to do that, especially over a 4-week period. So that would be one. The other one is that I would run a really, really targeted low barrier lead magnet that drives leads to the email list. And then I would increase the frequency of emails that I send that are really targeted towards progressively moving towards selling quite quickly in a separate audience to your normal email list than I normally would. They're the 2 main ones that would come to mind initially. What about you?
I'd agree on that. I think kind of depends on how those leads have come in to a certain extent to you. I think a 4-week period is very ambitious for most people. Again, mate, it's context behind that is varied, isn't it? So I think if they come in on a specific lead magnet that has hyper focused on a pain point and a challenge, I think, that consistency of follow up and the nurture series is really important. If it's kind of someone has just randomly joined your mailing list, what you suggested there, I think is bang on. So it's contextual, but I think also got to realize that when people put up their hand, you've never met them face to face. They might have seen a post, they might have opted into a lead magnet. Still a lot of work to do. And people are going to have different buying decisions at different points of time. So although, yes, hyper focus on getting them to the point where they're going to say yes, but also have the expectation of there's going to be more people that are going to take longer to warm up and say yes. So, yeah.
What's the best way to approach a conversation with someone who is inquiring that you don't think that you're a right coach for them, or that you are both not a good fit, without sounding rude or dismissive?
I would, if it's a legitimate reason, i.e. you don't think personalities would fit or you don't think you're going to get the best out of them, I would give them that feedback potentially, or lean on I'm full. I think you're probably best suited towards this person with this skill set and this availability. That's how I would approach it. A bit more context on that, but that's initially what I'd say. Anything you'd add? How do you balance providing clients with the extra time and guidance they sometimes need to achieve results while ensuring they receive the level of service they are paying for? Is this just a me problem?
No, it's absolutely not just a you problem. It's a battle a lot of coaches have. I think the first thing that I would go to is look at the extra time and guidance that you give him and see if there is a trend in that. And do you know what? Even if there isn't, I would try and find a way to incorporate into the current service that they're paying for the answers and the support that they need. Now, some people will go, but that's not human connection. It's not coaching. It depends what they're paying for, right? So I would agree. But I think see it as feedback. See it as feedback that people are coming to you for extra guidance and extra support and extra accountability. And then can you take that and then go, right, how can I now build that into my program? That's a really positive piece of feedback. How can I build it into my program? So in the future, when that comes up, they can just go there, that 15-minute podcast, that piece of education, maybe that group coaching call we do once a week, they bring that onto there. So I would put the answers and solutions into the service that they're buying. And probably then it starts to put less stress on you in terms of time, energy, and focus that you potentially don't then need to have. I'm not saying that that will solve all of the problems, because it's really hard, because you want to be there for them, you want to coach them, you want to get them results. Yeah, it's a difficult one, but personally, that would be my answer. See it as feedback, collate the information, plug in to the service what it is that they're asking or what support that you're doing, and then start to go from there. What would you say, Nick?
I'd agree with a lot of what you said there. It's natural. It's natural to try and give more and more and more. And you know what? I think sometimes you need to go through that as well. I do think you need to go through that as well to then understand whether that's impactful enough or whether that can be turned into something that's a little bit more systemized and efficient. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you take a check-in as an example, a lot of coaches spend a lot of time going through check-in feedback, where actually it just needs to be short, sharp, efficient, effective, and also a two-way conversation back and forth versus going through every single piece of information and comment and metric in there and giving them 10 things to focus on for the next 3 days. So yeah, I think recognize what those, as I'm just repeating what you said then, but yeah. Any more on there, mate?
No.
No? Happy
All
days.
finished. Dinner time.
Dinner time. Right, guys. Have a good one. See you soon.
Ta-ra.